The ultimate act of magic is to create something out of nothing, and talent shows around the world have witnessed the best of magic in recent years. So be it the famous sponge ball magic from Penn and Teller's show, or David Blaine magically making the teeth to reappear. Hello and welcome back, and today we're gonna unlock the secrets behind the world's most famous magic tricks of all time. So, let's get started. At number 5, the sponge ball trick. Giulio Marino, the sleight of hand magician, is a master of sponge ball magic. In one of the episodes of the Penn and Teller show, he performed quite a few tricks using the sponge balls. To start off his act, he first magically appears sponge balls out of nowhere. Thereafter, he picks up the sponge balls in his fist and then disappears them one by one from his fist and makes those balls to magically appear from inside the bowl. He then hands over 2 balls to the presenter and converts them into 3. Finally, he keeps on converting the sponge balls into multiple balls out of nowhere. So, how did he do it? Well, here's the secret. To execute this act, it requires a lot of patience, and the key skills are palming the ball, using your fingers, misdirection, and sleight of hand. Also, before the act started, he already set up his pockets and sleeves with sponges. The pockets were so loose that it's easier for him to reach into them. He also hid a sponge underneath the bowl and in his hand. Now, for the first part, to make the first 2 sponges appear inside the bowl, he had already grabbed them from the hidden place and concealed it behind the closed fist, and then only pretends to make the ball appear from the bowl. For the third sponge ball, here, he has that ball hidden in his left hand. Now, during this moment, he grabs the sponge with his right hand and then only had to pretend to magically make it appear. Further into the trick, he magically transfers the balls from his hand into the bowl and brings them back. How is it possible? Well, when he puts the balls into his left hand, few balls stay in his right hand, which he then appears out of the bowl. For instance, to make the third ball disappear, at this moment, he actually drops the ball from his left hand and down on the table, and pretends to put the ball from his right hand onto the table as it stays in his hand. He then used the ball from his right hand to be the third ball. In the final part, he calls the presenter, hands him 2 balls, and converts it into 3. Well, for this trick, he actually puts 3 balls into her hand from the start and made it look like 2. 1 was hidden in his palm while he gathered 2 balls from the table. Further, to multiply the balls in her hand, he always loaded at least 1 ball in his hand in a clever way by reaching into the pocket, thereby always keeping the count of balls on the table to 3. And this is how he fooled the judges. At number 4, pulling out the teeth trick. Be it the famous endurance acts or the amazing sleight of hand magic, David Blaine can do anything to everything. Here you can see him checking the teeth of few people, and then selects a girl with a slightly longer tooth. He then pulls out few teeth of that girl in front of all the people. She even shows her missing teeth. Thereafter, he amazingly brings back the missing teeth by just blowing air in her mouth to end this amazing act. So, how did David make the teeth to reappear back? Well, here's the secret. The girl that David selects is also in on this trick. You can make this out by observing that girl, where you can see her giving cues to David. Now, regarding the teeth being pulled out, well, the girl had a bunch of fake teeth already attached near the bottom of her real teeth and only looks like an extension of her teeth. Also, this being the reason David wanted a girl with longer teeth. Here, the girl lowers down her upper lip to cover the real teeth and show the fake teeth like they are her real ones. David then pulls out the 2 fake teeth. The missing tooth you see was a specially designed gimmick to create this illusion. Coming to the final part, the girl had 2 more fake teeth folded up in the roof of her mouth, just like a flip tooth. Also, the girl was able to push that fake teeth back and forth with her tongue. Now, when David blows air on her face, she pushes the 2 teeth in the roof of her mouth down into place with her tongue, and then lowers her upper lip to make the teeth reappear back. Thereafter, if you see, another assistant pushes the girl. This was done so that the girl had all the time to get rid of her fake teeth and eventually end this amazing act. At number 3, the duck trick. Now this trick by David Copperfield involves a combination of magic and humor, and is a wonderful example of how humor helps to enhance the overall magical experience. In this trick, Copperfield calls upon a spectator on stage, hands over the duck to his assistant, and then brings a bucket. Confirming that the bucket is an empty one, he gives that bucket to that spectator to hold. Meanwhile, he takes back the duck from the assistant and puts it inside a box. He then starts dismantling the box, which is quite easy as it seems. After taking the box apart, he makes that duck disappear. Now he walks back to the bucket the spectator is holding and opens it. Now what we see is just amazing. The duck that had disappeared jumps out of the bucket. And it seemed as if the duck was teleported from the box to the bucket. And to add to the excitement, Copperfield even goes on to repeat the trick in slow motion. So, how did he do it? Well, before revealing the secret, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get instant notifications of our new video uploads. So, let's see where the duck went. When you first look at the empty bucket, Copperfield manages to convince everyone that the bucket is indeed empty. But if you look at it carefully, you'll notice that the bucket is half covered and its interior is not entirely visible. The reason is simple. There's something hidden inside that bucket. So, what could it be? Well, it has to be the duck. The duck was not magically teleported from the box into the bucket. Instead, it was there, hidden inside from the very beginning of the trick. As magicians like Copperfield are quite good at hiding things in very small spaces. So the duck was probably hidden under half of the lid of the bucket. Also, there's not just one, but two ducks used for this trick. So the question arises, where exactly the other duck disappeared to from the box? The answer's quite amazing. The duck inside the box was a fake one. And the two real ducks were the one which Copperfield showed us at the start, and the other one was hidden inside the bucket. He first showed a real duck and handed it to his assistant. In the later part, he returns back to the assistant to retrieve the duck. However, that is not the same duck. Rather, it's a fake duck. When the audience was busy watching Copperfield perform, his assistant had switched the real duck for a fake, inflatable duck. And when Copperfield comes back for the duck, he gets the fake one. Now this fake duck can easily be deflated in very quick time. The moment he puts that fake duck in the box, he deflates it, and then after taking the box apart, he easily removes it together with one of the plates. Finally, all he did was walk back to the bucket, open the lid, and release the real duck, which was waiting for her turn all this while. At number 2, the disappearing card trick. There are only a few magicians in the world who are really good at their sleight of hand skills. As you can see here, the magician puts the cards on that table, but they magically disappear. After some time, he reappears back those missing cards. So, how did the magician perform this trick, and where exactly do the cards disappear? The secret lies in the amazing sleight of hand skills displayed by the magician. If you see carefully in this picture, the magician hides the cards in his hand and conceals it behind his fingers. The camera angles are placed in a way which creates the illusion as if there's nothing in his hand. But if you look from the backstage, he was holding the cards this way. But where exactly did he throw the cards? Well, some of you'd think that he throws the cards on the floor, but that's not the case here. Otherwise, how would he bring those missing cards back again? Instead, there's a secret pocket built in at the back of that table where he threw all those cards. After some time into the trick, he pulls those cards out of the pocket and reappears them back again. He repeats the process quite a few times to deceive everyone around. So finally, the number 1 trick on our list, vanishing in a junkyard. Criss Angel, the magician known for his mysterious tricks, performed a vanishing act on the famous TV series Criss Angel Believe. Here's what he did. The act takes place in a junkyard. He stands on a table with his hands tied and the rope is held by 2 of his assistants. The cloth cover is then pulled up and what do we see? Criss vanishes behind that cloth in a matter of seconds. So, how did he do it? Well, here's the secret. To understand how he broke free from chains, well, the chains that tied Chris were fake and were held by two assistants using rope at each end. Now, after the cloth is raised up, if you look at this man, you can see the end of the rope being pulled up quickly as it gets shorter. Yes, the man releases the rope, which allows Chris to tie the fake chains together in a very quick time. He then vanishes behind the cloth as his assistants display their acting skills. Now, coming to how he vanished behind the cloth, we'll look at a few things. In these two frames, just notice how the shadow of the man behind him changes when they bring the camera down. At first, his shadow is ahead of him, but only after a few seconds into the trick, the man on the backside has his shadow behind him. Also, these two frames were played in a span of a few seconds, but in reality, the two frames were shot in several minutes. Notably, before the assistants raise the cloth, you'll see Chris's shadow coming down in front of the barrels in one of the frames. What you'll also see is that magically, his shadow somehow also gets behind the two barrels in exactly the same shape. Now that's impossible in a few seconds' time. Yes, during this change in camera angle, a mirror was placed between the two barrels. The legs that you see between the two barrels are not of that man in yellow, but are actually from another man standing somewhere in front, which is reflected back in the mirror. The man behind Chris is only there to give you the illusion that there is nothing between the two barrels. And now the trick becomes clearer. Chris ties the chain together, jumps behind the cloth, and hides behind that mirror to create this amazing illusion. So guys, hope you got the secrets behind the most famous magic tricks of all time. Which trick did you like the most? And who's your favorite magician of the lot? Also, name any other magic trick you would like us to reveal. Tell us in the comments below. Do like and share this video with your friends on social media. For more such amazing things, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And finally, thanks for watching.